Well, today's presentation, obviously, we're talking about the PGMP, which is a PMI certification, and I'm sure many of our attendees in the audience are certified as perhaps a CAPM or a PMP. They're looking to advance their career. And for a lot of project managers, this is the next logical step to go on to the PGMP. But like the PMP certification, not everyone can take this exam. So we're going to look at what are the qualifiers to earn the PGMP and how you might make the step from a PMP on into a PGMP. So let's take a look at a little bit more detail here. The PGMP obviously is Program Management Professional. It focuses on your experience and education as a program manager. And it's based on your experience, the success of your program. So you have to show that you've got experience leading programs in your organization. So we'll talk more about that experience in just a moment. This is a very intense certification for program managers. Unlike what you may have experienced in the PMP, you're going to find you have to pass through some more reviews in order to get even to the exam. And then post-exam, you'll find there's another review that you're going to have to complete. So it's a lot of steps that you're going to have to move through in order to earn this elite certification from PMI. It's based on, right now, the 3 books that you see there on your screen, the Standard for Program Management, which is really a pretty thin book, very high-level book of program management. There are references throughout the Standard for Program Management, this publication from PMI, to the PMBOK. Now, the references right now are to the version 3 of the PMBOK. You probably have the version 4 of the PMBOK if you've purchased it within the last month or so. But it's based on version 3 currently, and this will be updated towards the end of summer to reflect version 4. And then you may also need the Standard for Portfolio Management. There's a lot of portfolio management in this certification that you'll need to be familiar with. So this is another publication for PMI. So these are the 3 PMI publications that you're going to have to really be intimate with to pass your PGMP. The process, it all begins with PMI.org, where you'll submit your PGMP application, where you will document your experience and your education and why you qualify for the PGMP. Then PMI will take your application and they will do an application completeness review, it's kind of a cursory review that you have indeed completed all of the necessary components, documented your education and experience, and that you do indeed qualify for the exam. Or let me take that back. It's not that you qualify at this point, but rather that you have completed the exam in order to move on to the next step, which is where there's potential that your application will be audited. If you get audited, it's much like the current process in the PMP audit, where you will have to have some education verification and where you will have some experience verification, where your managers or colleagues will need to sign off on the experience that you've claimed on your PGMP application, and you'll have to show evidence of the education that you have completed. Once you get past the audit process, or your application, if it makes it past and it doesn't get selected for an audit, you will then go into a program manager's panel review. Now, these are program managers selected by PMI that are going to review your application to see if you qualify or not based on your education and experience that you've put on your PGMP application. So they will look at the application and make a determination if you qualify to move on to the exam. If you do not, at this point, your application will be denied. If you are approved, then you get to move forward to the 170 multiple choice assessment exam. Now, this exam is very similar if you've taken the PMP or if you've taken even the CAPM exam. It's very similar as far as the functionality goes. Obviously, the content and the focus is on program management, not on project management. The 170 question multiple choice assessment exam, you have 4 hours to complete this exam. Once you've completed it, then you will get a message, a confirmation message that you have indeed passed the exam, or if not, that we're sorry that you did not pass at this time, and then you'll have a bad day. If you've passed the exam, which is of course your goal, You'll then have another hurdle that you'll have to get past, and that is a 12-person multi-rater assessment process. And I'll talk about this in one moment. This is something a little unusual. This 12-person multi-rater assessment process, you get to choose the 12 people, and I'll talk about that in detail in one moment. If you pass, or when you pass, the multi-rater assessment process, then you are officially a PGMP, and your credential cycle begins from that point. If you're currently a PMP or a CAPM, and you have earned your PGMP, then your credentials overlap to some extent as far as your PDUs are concerned. So for example, the PDUs that you're earning from this presentation, the one PDU you earn from this, you can actually apply that to both certifications. You don't have to earn double the amount of PDUs. So that's kind of nice. Let's take a look in more detail about this certification and who can qualify for the PGMP eligibility. There are two paths to earn your PGMP with a bachelor's degree or without a bachelor's degree. With a degree, you need 4 years of project management experience. That's right, you have to have project management experience in order to qualify for the PGMP. You need actually 6,000 unique hours of project management experience. You'll also need 4 years of program management experience with a bachelor's degree. And again, that's 6,000 unique hours, all within the last 15 years. Now, one caveat here with a bachelor's degree, if you have a degree from a PMI accredited university, you actually will get 1,500 hours of program management experience credit. So that's one thing to take a look at if you don't quite have the 6,000 hours via the bachelor's degree in program management experience. Now, without a bachelor's degree, it's much more stringent. You do need the 4 years of project management experience, again, 6,000 unique hours, but 7 years of program management experience, which is 10,500 hours. So it's much more stringent, a bigger hurdle to jump through without the bachelor's degree, all within the last 15 years. So if you think for just a moment and you look at these qualifications, this really is an elite certification. There's going to be some big hoops to jump through in order to earn the PGMP. So I think this is a bar that PMI has set very high for this new certification. I think it'll be interesting over the next 2 years to see the number of PGMPs and what happens to this certification. So something to look at outside of PMI. I talked about the unique months of experience, and this is something that has been applied to all of PMI's certifications. Project A in this example lasts for 7 months. Notice that Project B lasts for 5 months. Well, in this instance, Project A and Project B, that actually only counts for 7 months. You don't get to say, well, there's 12 months of project management experience. It's the uniqueness of it. If we look at Project C, it overlaps from March all the way to July in this example. But if you look past July, it's the only project that's running. So we could count Project C for August through January as unique months. And so we would have those 6 months of experience for Project C plus 7 months of experience for Project A. So 13 months total in this instance. So as you complete your PGMP application, you just want to pay attention to this idea of unique months of experience. And it is somewhat automated online, and perhaps on the web you've seen some of these spreadsheets floating around that help you calculate the number of unique months. But basically, you can only count 1 month at a time, and so that will help you as you complete your PGMP application. Now, the experience portion of the PGMP application requires you to talk about your project management experience. Both with a degree and without a degree, you've got to have